3, 2, 1, action. Hi, this is Victoria Wolders, and welcome to another My Kids Locker empathy tale, creating compassion one story at a time. I hope that you're following along with all these stories from the Oak and Eagle Kingdom and learning a lot about empathy and compassion. If you want to connect with me, go to mykidslocker.com. You can also connect with me through SoundCloud and currently on Google Play. So today's episode is episode 8, Patience and Time. And this story was shared with my own children on September 15th, 2018. The quote today is, "The two most powerful warriors are patience and time." So, this story is a fascinating story about two wizards. There is a village who is struggling with anger. There is also a wanderer from this village that comes to these two wizards. And his hope is that they will have the skills to heal his village. There is also a girl who sees what happens in these two wizards, with these two wizards and this pained wanderer. What will she do? And will she show courage to help those who need help? I chose to share this story because in my life we have situations where if we had just one thing change in the story, then things would be better. So for example, about 10 years ago, I was in a car accident. After the car accident, I had bad headaches and my back hurt. I went to many specialists, I went to many people to help me, and all tried their best to assist me in my pain, yet I just seemed like it just wasn't getting better. So after 8 years, I managed to find specific people to walk with me in my issues. But it took me a long time to find people who could communicate effectively with me, who knew what my issues were and would be able to help me. I wondered why didn't these specific people come into my life right at the beginning of my accident? Why did it have to take like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years for these individuals to connect with me and meet with me? I was in pain. Why did it have to take years? So in this story, I want you to think of the last time you were hurt. Who came to help you? Did you expect certain people to help you and then you were disappointed? This story talks about where do we find help when all hope is gone, and also courage to be a helper. So are we comfortable? Then I will begin episode 8, Patience and Time. Once upon a time, a long time ago, in the Oak and Eagle Kingdom, there used to live a girl named Hope. Hope lived in a village, and the village was very close to a big lake. On the other side of the lake, there lived two wizards, one named Patience and one named Time. Hope lived right by the lake and would look across the lake and see the wizards. She would also see the sun rising, and she would see Patience's cottage. When the sun was setting, she would see Time's cottage. Often, she would see these amazing wizards doing their magic. Patience would be there on the sunrise, and you would see sparks of beautiful colors coming from his cottage. The girl always wondered what he was doing and what he was thinking. In the sunset, Hope would see Time, and Time was always doing amazing things. He would show his magic like beautiful fireworks in front of the setting sun. She always wondered what the point of Patience and Time were, and why it was important for them to be doing their magic when the sun rises and the sun sets. Well, one day, as Hope was walking to the village, she met up with a man who was standing on the corner of the path. And he said to her, "I am a new visitor from another village. I am interested in meeting the wizard Patience, and I'm interested in meeting the wizard Time." She said, "Well, I've never met them before, but I have seen them doing their magic, and always at sunrise and sunset." And she continued by saying, "What do you need to meet with them about?" He gazed remorsefully at the ground. "In our village, we are very poor, and we have people who are very angry in our village. I've been sent by my village to go ask the wizards for their help, so that they can make peace with the people who are angry and help people who are poor." And Hope said, "Well, if you come to my house, you will be able to see their magic in the morning when the sun rises, and you'll be able to see their magic at the sunset." She invited the traveler to her house. Her mother and father welcomed this traveler, and he stayed upstairs in the attic. He seemed very nice, a very nice man, and he seemed like a man that had a good heart, but she just wasn't quite sure about what he meant by taking the wizard Patience and the wizard Time back to his village. Hope wondered how it might affect her community in her village, because Patience and Time were an important part of who her village was and who her community was. If it wasn't for Patience, she truly believed that the rivers wouldn't flow, the salmon wouldn't return, and the trees wouldn't grow. Time was extremely important as well, because he helped her value relationships. The wizard Time allowed us to value the importance of family and generations. She said to the traveler, "If you want them, you need to go talk to them, but I don't know if they'll leave." So the wanderer decided in the morning to go see Patience first. He met with Patience early as the sun was rising. He knocked on the cottage door as the sun rose. As the door opened, he announced to the wizard Patience, "Could you please come with me and help my village?" At this point, the wizard said, "No, I'm not going to come with you. I am here to help our village, and I am the Patience they need." The wanderer was insistent. "You must come with me. We need you." And with that, he grabbed Patience by the arm and tied his hands behind his back and walked him to the edge of the forest, where he took Patience and wrapped him with rope around a large oak tree. The angry wanderer yelled, "I'm going to come back, and I'll be back with Time." So as he walked to the other side of the lake, he knew that you would have to go past the girl's cottage. The wanderer saw Hope, and she waved. He smiled, and he thought to herself, "That's really strange that he didn't stop to say anything to me." He continued on his journey, and he went to Time. And as the sun was setting, he knocked on the cottage door, and Time graciously came out. Once again, the man announced, "My village needs your special powers to unify them. They are angry at each other, and we need you to guide them to better decisions. Could you come with me?" The wizard said, "No, I'm not going to come with you. I need to be here. This is the place I need to be." All of a sudden, the wanderer started to get angry and said, "I'm going to take you. You need to help my village." He captured Time, and he wrapped his arms behind his back. He walked him to the same area where Patience was in. All of a sudden, what ended up happening was Time and Patience, the wizards, were captured, and the sun finally set. Time and Patience were walked to this mysterious village. The next morning, the girl woke up, and she went to go look to where the sun rose, and she did not see this wizard Patience creating his magic, and she thought, "Oh, well, maybe he just wasn't feeling that well, or there's another reason why." But then, as the sun set, she didn't see the wizard Time was there either. And she started to believe that something may have happened to them. As the sun was setting, Hope realized realized that there were no birds singing anymore. In the morning, the water wasn't moving anymore, that there was no clouds in the sky, and it seemed like time stood still. She thought, oh, it's just a day. It won't matter. The sun is still rising, the sun is still setting, yet everything seems to stay still. There was no wind, so all the leaves were just still. The sun was shining, but there was nothing more. As the sun set on the second day, she noticed her family started to be a little bit more angry with each other. They started to have a little less patience. They used tone of voices that weren't very kind. They were not very nice to each other. Hope thought, oh, it's just 2 days. It won't matter. Well, the third day came, and the same thing happened, but this time she didn't see any fish moving in the lake. She didn't see any wind rustling through the trees. She saw no family, friends, or villagers walking on the trail or the path because there were no sounds or feelings anymore of nature. It just seemed like time stood still. By the end of the third day, she was concerned. Her family was arguing with each other. It seemed like everyone lacked grace, mercy, and patience. So she decided she was going to find the wizards. Now she knew that this wanderer was from another village. She knew that there was a few distant villages on the edge of the Oak and Eagle Kingdom. She remembered seeing a feather in his cap, and the feather was a peacock feather. She knew that only the village of Peacock had peacock feathers. Only the village with peacocks had the ability to have those peacock feathers in their caps. So she knew it was a village of Volantre. And so she thought, okay, I'll go to see them. Hope went and traveled to Volantre, and soon enough she entered the gates, and everyone was peaceful. Everyone was patient. Everyone was kind. It seemed like the wind was rolling through, and she thought to herself that this isn't the village that this man described to me. Soon she saw the castle, and she climbed up the hill and went to the castle because there was an open window. She walked through the gates into the castle, and she heard the voice again. She turned the corner, and there was the wanderer sitting on the throne. He was king. There he sat on the throne. On either side of him was a wizard of patience and the wizard of time. She stumbled into the throne room and bowed graciously as she stated, "Wanderer, king, you took the 2 wizards that help our village live and do well." And he looked at her and replied, "Yes, but we need them more." The 2 wizards looked at her and spoke gently and gracefully. "We need to give mercy to this village. They do not have anything, and they need more." With a tear running down her face, "Well, how can we help them without you having to be kept here?" The king was sad with the pain he had caused Hope's family. In a moment of empathy, he announced, "Well, I will give them back to you as long as you promise me 2 things. Firstly, the water that runs from the lake will run to our village so that we can have the water and the privileges that you have, and the fish will come down to us. Also, would you give us the privilege of being able to have the wizard patience and time to come visit us so that we too can learn the ways of what it means to be patient and how to treasure time and our relationships?" And Hope looked at the wizards saying, "Wizards, are you able to agree to this?" They responded, "Yes, the only thing is that we are going to leave one thing here in the village, and that is a clock. This clock is what will give you a reminder of what time it is and what patience is." Now, this clock unfortunately will make people worried, but will help them be grateful for the time they have to spend in nature. The clock will make people anxious. Then we will put clocks in the villagers' homes below. This is the spell we give you because you took us from our homes. It will be your greatest strength, but also your greatest weakness. And the king insisted and replied, "Yes, I realize that we have to accept our consequences. So they magically created a clock in the throne room, and as they walked out of the village of Volantre, they proceeded to magically put clocks on the walls of all the homes as they walked by. From that point on, the villagers became understanding of time and patience. The clocks helped the villagers. Water flew through the gates and helped the people that evening as the sun set. Even though the clock did do good things and helped them often, the clocks limited them in what they wanted to do, and often the clock created worry and anxiety. And so from that point forward, the young girl, the wanderer king, 2 wizards, and the 2 villages were united. Only through the courage of hope and the grace and the mercy of the wizards did patience and time truly become appreciated. The end. Well, thank you so much for joining us for another empathy tale. This is episode 8, Patience and Time. Please come visit me at mykidslocker.com, and I look forward to having you continue with us on our journey of empathy tales. And hopefully this story today will allow you to reflect on a few things and a few virtues. And my hope today is that you will create compassion one story at a time. Thank you.